Hi guys, nice to meet you. I'm Templar Investigator, and he's going to show us a few things around VBO today. Rick Lou and members of the team have traveled some 65 miles northwest of Rome to the city of VBO, Italy. VBO was an important crossroad, and for 24 years, VBO was the center of Christianity and the known world. They have arranged to meet with Gianluca da Prospero, an author who has spent more than 2 decades researching the medieval activities of the Knights Templar in this region. What is the Templar connection with this area? Actually, he found some interesting symbols in a church that is very close to here. It's called Santa Maria Noa. There might be some Templar connection. I'd say let's take a look. Founded in the 8th century, VBO became the temporary headquarters for Pope Alexander IV and the Catholic Church during a time of civil unrest in Rome. During that period, the city also served as a stronghold for the Templar order. This is Santa Noa, a church built in 1080. As you can see, it's full of paintings, carvings, and symbolism. What's hard to believe is this was built in 1080. Unbelievable! I think there's a lot to learn here, so let's start an initial investigation and see what we come up with. Okay, you see anything at all? It's like everyone else don't. Okay, great. Do that. The church is an incredible edifice. It's a beautiful church. Churches, even though they were public, held secrets of their own, and we need to learn as much as we can. Hey guys, come take a look at this when you find something pretty interesting. It's unmistakable, cross with the 4 dots, same as the Joe Stone. He says that these 4-dot crosses are marking special places that Templars used to be in or around. This is also present in places connected with the Holy Grail or the Holy Shroud. If this 4-dot cross is only found in Templar-associated locations or with Templar-associated articles that they may have been safeguarding, it speaks volumes for our own. In the 1920s, a massive boulder featuring a number of enigmatic carvings was discovered by treasure hunters on the northern shore of Oak Island. Suspecting that it marked the location of buried treasure, they destroyed it with dynamite in order to dig beneath it. Nothing was found below the massive boulder. However, is it possible that a fragment known as the Hoe Stone, which featured a cross surrounded by 4 dots, represented a key clue that sacred Templar treasures are hidden on Oak Island? If so, could that explain the high trace evidence of gold and other metals that have been detected deep in the Money Pit area? Every place we visit speaks to me that there's an ongoing story here and an ongoing message. You need to look backward in time, and that's what we've done today. I think we need to continue doing that. Yeah, let's go. We have seen that cross everywhere, from Portugal to the Hoe Stone, and we know for a fact that Templars used that representation, but it certainly is a direct connection to Oak Island. Rick here. Eric. Yeah, right there. Hi, I see, which in Latin means here. I think there's an A even on the far side. There's an A here. Yeah, in his opinion, this refers to a compass, and if you take a look closely, there's also a square, so it could be Masonic symbolism, which is weird in a church like this, so old and so important here in NOA. But possible Masonic compass carved in the wall of a medieval church with known connections to the Knights Templar? Many believe that the secretive fraternity known as the Freemasons evolved from the Templar order after their dissolution by the Catholic Church in the 14th century. Curiously, ever since the Money Pit was discovered in 1795, Freemasons have been involved in nearly every single organized company of treasure hunters that has tried to solve the mystery. Masonic symbols, such as triangles, crosses, and the letter G, representing the divine creator, have also been found all across the island. Is it possible that Alex Lagina has just found more evidence that these organizations are directly connected? If so, does that also explain what Freemasons have been trying to find on Oak Island for more than 2 centuries? I just keep thinking about the Hoe Stone, and let me show you this. So, in the church we saw this, right? What does that mean here? If you do this, you get the Hoe Stone, and this symbol we learned today means Templar-related relic. And what have we found that the symbol at the end means? Some have interpreted it to be gold. Yeah, if you put it all together, there's the possibility that the Hoe Stone represents Templar gold. We know that in medieval times they really liked their ciphers, they really liked their hidden meaning, so maybe, you may have just filled in the blank or a blank or blanks. I think it was incredibly insightful of Alex. I think he and Peter work very well together. I'm very proud of them as my nephews. Hopefully, this means something. If he's on to something, that's fantastic. We all believe the Ho stone is important. The circle and the dot could be a symbol for gold. Is it possible that it hints at or suggests that there's a religious relic associated with the treasure of Oak Island? Well, at this point, there's some strong suggestions that that is indeed the case. Well, what we did is we took the Eisenbrutz approach to the information hunt, which is absolutely imperative, and that's my thought as we head back to the island. Appreciate that we owe you a debt of gratitude as operations continue on Oak Island. Here we are, approximately 3,700 miles to the east. Rick Lea, along with his nephews Alex and Peter, Oak Island historian Doug Kroll, and researcher Corin Mole, have arrived in Cato, Italy, where they are meeting with researchers Emiliano Estai and Alberto Re Cantini. I'm so glad to see you guys. I know you're interested in the underground system of Camerano because of the Oak Island lead cross. Building upon the research that was shared with the team back in 2016 by Rick's late friend Zena Halper, Emiliano has invited them to visit the enigmatic site known as the Cameron Caves, a system of man-made underground labyrinths which date back more than 2,500 years and which features a section that is shaped nearly identically to the 14th century lead cross that was found on Oak Island in 2017. So, this is Alberto. He's been mapping and exploring these caves for 50 years, and he's going to be our guide today. Perfect. So, why don't we go inside? There's no better time than now. Let's go underground. Although the town of Camerano, Italy, dates back to 1198, the first documented civilization in the region were the Piceni, who are believed to have created the underground cave system in the 6th century BC. Looks like the catacombs keep going. The area became part of the Roman Empire around 290 BC. It's huge. Wow, keeps going. However, between the 12th and 14th centuries, it was re-established as a stronghold for the Knights Templar, who modified portions of the cave system for reasons that remain a mystery. The construct is incredible. It's large. It's massive. Wow. The hope is that there'll be a part of the system that Alberto can directly connect to, possibly to a belief system that is associated with the artifacts that we have found on the island. The Order of the Knights Templar has remained shrouded in mystery since it was established in 1118 in Jerusalem. They were headquartered on the original site of King Solomon's Temple for the purpose of protecting Christian interests in the Holy Land. During the Crusades, they became extraordinarily wealthy by developing one of the world's first banking systems, but in 1307 they were disbanded by the Catholic Church and persecuted by the King of France for the alleged crime of heresy. However, some believe that the Templars were actually targeted because they had come into possession of many priceless religious treasures. Let's go to the Venus Cave. Perfect, you. Those sacred valuables have never been found, and researchers such as Corin and Amano believe that surviving members of the Order smuggled them throughout Europe before ultimately hiding them in the New World on Oak Island. So, we are now at the mouth of the Bonnie Cave, aka the Venus Cave, and I'll leave it to Marco, who's another very expert guide. The Bonnie Cave is one of the oldest caves in the region. You know, the shape is why we're here, right? Yeah, exactly. Because we think the shape of your cave completely matches the shape of the lead cross that was found on our island. That's exciting. Yeah. Okay, we have exclusive entrance to the cave, and if Alan and Rick want to visit, we could go. We would certainly love to see it. Okay. Yeah, me too. Fantastic. This is what, in a church, you would call the transept. We have the left arm, the right arm, and according to Alberto, there is a slight difference. This arm should be a bit longer than this one, which is exactly what our lead cross exhibits. Is there really an intimate relationship between the lead cross found on Oak Island on Smith's Cove Beach? What that cross represents and what this represents. Are they aligned? I think they are the same thing, and I'm inclined to believe that this is a very important moment because it's some sort of validation. Obviously, you know, my friendship with Zena makes me get emotional, right? Because I reach out and touch this now. If this really is that, she was the one who guided us here, really. She helped us, and now maybe this will help us move the story forward, and that's why we're here, really, to make connections. To hear it from you means something. Yeah. I don't want to be emotional as well. Lead on. Hey guys. Oh yeah. So, there's another cave system that I would like to show you guys, and it's in Oimo. It's a few kilometers from Camerano, and I'm pretty sure you'll find it very interesting. I'd say yes. Okay, let's go. So, we're in Oimo, nearly 3,700 miles to the east in the town of Oimo, Italy. I want to introduce you to Fabio Baroni, a researcher, Emiliano SDI, and Professor Fabio Baroni, a historian and modern-day member of the Knights Templar, meeting with Rick Lagina and other members of the team just outside an ancient site known as the Grat Simonetti. Here, there's another amazing underground cave system. It's about 30 kilometers wide. Wow, there are some interesting carvings in these caves, and Fabio will show us and explain the meaning of those carvings. Well, we're really interested to see what we might see in these caves. Why don't we step in? Yeah, can't wait. Look at that. Oh, that cross there. Yeah. Oh, look at this right there. Hey, Rick, check this out. That's cool. We have seen this symbol before. Yeah, and that's a direct tie to Oak Island in a cave system known as the GR Simonetti in Asimo, Italy. Alex Lagina and his cousin Peter Frenetti have just found an ancient carving believed to have been made by members of the Knights Templar, matching one found on the so-called Hoe Stone, which was discovered in the 1920s on Oak Island. Haven't we had some people who have thought this is a symbol for gold? That is true. Yes. Is it possible that Peter and Alex have found a symbol in the Grat Simonetti related to the sacred treasures that many believe the Templar Order smuggled out of Europe between the 12th and 14th centuries? If so, could the Hoe Stone be a critical clue as to where they are located today? This circle with the dot obviously is represented on the Hoe Stone. We are beginning to draw some connective tissue to perhaps Templar involvement on Oak Island. Kudos to both of you for finding that. It's impactful. It is. There's a lot more to learn. While the search for treasure continues on Oak Island, approximately 3,500 miles to the east in Mirando, Italy, Rick Lagina, his nephews Alex Lagina and Peter Frenetti, along with Doug Kroll, are beginning a research trip to investigate the possible origins of the 229-year-old mystery. Welcome to Mirando. This is the San Abbey of this little town. Today, researcher Emiliano SDI and astronomer Professor Adriano Gani have arranged for the team to visit Mondo Abbey, the site of a monastery that was established by Chian monks back in the 12th century. Before we get into the church, I would like to show you something. The breadth of knowledge that Professor Gani has is integral to this process, and he said there was indeed a very profound connection between Templars and Chian monks, and the hope is there'll be a connection between that knowledge and perhaps a voyage to the New World, and of course the island in particular. So, on top of the facade, you can see some ceramic vessels. Oh yes, and if you pay attention, on the left side, there is a group of 5. 2 have very specific symbolism. I see it, and then I see a couple of 4-dot crosses. Yeah, so we have the 4-dot cross carved on the Hoe Stone on Oak Island, discovered on the northern shore of Oak Island back in the 1920s. The so-called Hoe Stone, which featured a cross surrounded by 4 dots, was part of a larger boulder that had been detonated by searchers who mistakenly believed that it marked the location of buried treasure. Is it possible that the team has found an important clue outside of Mondo Abbey that offers more evidence connecting the Knights Templar to the Oak Island mystery? So, what about getting into the church and taking a look? Yeah. I'd love to. Yep, the Hoe Stone. It's an integral part of the story, and if it was meaningful to the people who were here, i.e., the Chian and perhaps the Templars, me personally, I think it's too ubiquitous a symbol for it and too iconic to Oak Island for us to ignore it. Wow, look at this. I did not expect this. Yeah, wow. Yeah, quite stunning. So this is it, 60 meters by 13, so very long and narrow. 8 massive pillars on each side. But let's just spread out and take a look. It's interesting that we see this 4-dot cross on the Hoe Stone, which we seem to see at a lot of Templar sites, which is very interesting. The church there has several really significant orientations and markings, and I'm excited to find out more. You see the Templar cross? Oh yeah, I'm hopeful that we will be able to learn something, or at least see some symbols here that could be really important to help us figure out what's going on in Oak Island. Okay, I think it's time to go to the scriptorium. I'm really looking forward to showing it to you guys. Okay, you lead the way. The scriptorium was the place where the monks used to study, copy, and illuminate the manuscripts that were recording the knowledge of the times. So this is the scriptorium, and here in this place, there were at least 10 monks working, copying manuscripts, studying them, and as you can see, it's beautifully decorated. These paintings are actually made by Chian monks. It's not a later edition, and we're talking around the 13th century. Wow, right over your shoulder there. You mean this one? Yep, we saw that in the Templar prison at Dome. We did. What does it remind you of? Well, the Tree of Life. Yeah, a painted depiction of the Tree of Life, the sacred religious symbol believed by many to represent a pathway to God. I think it's possible that this might have been inspired by the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. In 2017, Rick, Alex, and Peter visited a 14th-century prison in Dome, France, where members of the Templar Order had been incarcerated in 1307 by King Philip IV on charges of heresy. However, some believe that the true reason for the Templar persecution was for the Catholic Church to confiscate the religious treasures that they possessed, which may have included the Ark of the Covenant. Much of the Templar treasure has never been found, but curiously, the known cross on Oak Island, which Professor Gaspan believes was created by Templar Knights around 1200 AD, has also been thought by some to represent the Tree of Life. On the opposite side of the pillar, there is another four-dot cross. What we learned last year about that four-dot cross with the Hoe stone, and what that might mean, perhaps associated with Templar treasure. And now we are starting to see it here too. It just reinforces the idea that it is possible that the Templars were connected to this site, this church, and perhaps even to the treasure found on Oak Island. Is the link between the Templars and Oak Island becoming stronger by the day? Could the recently discovered four-dot crosses and other clues found across Europe help unravel the mystery of the Templar treasure and its connection to Oak Island? As the team continues to gather evidence from the historical sites that they visit, it is clear that the search for answers is only just beginning.